Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll lead you step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. We're now making good headway through the first paper of 2016 for Grade 3, that's Paper A. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets in US letter and A4 that accompany each step of this series, and all the information that you need to know for Grade 3 can be found within these documents. Also on my website you can find links to all of my YouTube video tutorials where I take you step by step through the music theory and practice workbook, and so if you want to revisit some topics for revision you can access into those video tutorials, and I explain every aspect of this grade with you, working through it with you. You can also find information about the books that I have available. I've written a book, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam, and it's full of tips and techniques how to best make use of the time in preparation as you lead up to the exam, and also how to best make use of the time when you're actually sitting in the exam room working through your exam paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, it's all there for you. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's loads more to come. And so let's press on now, and we're continuing with this first paper. If you turn with me to page 3 of your exam booklet, and we're now on question 4. I always suggest that you work through these papers first on your own. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong, you can always try again. It's always more thoroughly learned when you've made a few mistakes. And so I'm hoping you've had a go at this, and now I'll work through this paper with you. You need a sharp pencil. I use a mechanical pencil just to keep it neat and tidy, an eraser and a ruler to hand, and then we're all ready to go. So question 4 says to give the letter names of each of these notes. Very generously the first answer is given, so actually they're given as a starting point, and if you're a little bit stuck with your clef you can always work out what your note is starting from what they've given you. Just keep your eyes peeled because it's going to keep changing clef. Now the treble clef is the lines are every good boy deserves football, so we know that F sharp, and so we can work everything else out from that. And so here, this next one, we know it's every good boy deserves football, so if we count from this top F, F, G, A, B, C, D. Alternatively, you can count this first note as 1 and count an octave down until you're in more familiar territory. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it takes you to D. Every good boy deserves, but we know it's D an octave higher. So you can use either of those two systems to just work these notes that are a bit more off the beaten track with ledger lines. And so now we're into the bass clef, and we know the bass clef is good boys deserve football always with the lines. So A, B, C, D, E, flat. Alternatively, if you count down your octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once you've got used to counting that, I just count in thirds, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 to the space. Next one, so let's count up an octave from here. So if we count 1, 3, 5, 7 is the line, 8 is the space, that's an A because the bass clef is all cows eat grass, but we're an octave lower, and so we know that's low A. Here, this is middle C sharp, but if you're not sure, you can either work from the E backwards, E, D, C, because we know it goes every good boy, so E, D, C sharp. And then the last one, let's count up an octave. 1, 3, 5, 7 is the space, 8 is the line, it's the middle line, good boys deserve, and so we know it's D flat, an octave lower. There we go, that should get you full marks there. Let's move on to question 5. So question 5 asks us to name the key of each of these tonic triads. And so because we know it's a tonic triad, tonic means first note of the scale. It's the chord of 3 notes built on the first note of the scale. And so we just read this bottom note, that will give us the starting point. So we know that this here, we know it's the space is spelled face, F-A-C-E. So the bottom note is F sharp. So we know it's either F sharp major or F sharp minor. Now F sharp minor is related to A major, which has F sharps, C sharps and G sharps. Of course the G sharp doesn't come into this because we've not got a note G, and so it's F sharp minor. So this next one, we know that it goes every good boy deserves football, F G. So we know that it's G something. Now G major would have F sharps. That doesn't come into this because we've got G, B, D. If it was G minor, it should have a B flat because G minor's got B flats and E flats. So it doesn't fit into the scale of G minor, so it must be G major. Here we go, the next one. We know the bass clef spaces are all cows eat grass, so this is C. Now if it was C major, there would be no E flat because C major has a key signature of no sharps or flats, so that wouldn't be appropriate. But we know that C minor is related to E flat major, so that E flat would be part of the minor scale. So it's a C minor tonic triad. Let's look at this next one. So we know the space is spelled face, F-A-C-E, so it's E flat something. And now we need to decide, is it E flat major or E flat minor? Well, we're only dealing with E flat major because E flat major has B flats, E flats and A flats. There's no A flat because there's no A in the tonic triad, but we know it fits in with the key signature of the major scale, so it's E flat major. And then this last one, so let's figure out what the note, this bottom note is. We know that this first one is a G, good boys deserve, and so on. So G, F, E. So we know that it's E something. Now E major would have a G sharp because E major has F, C, G, D sharps. There's no G sharp present, and so we know that it's E minor because E minor is related to G major, which would just have F sharps in the key signature and D sharps as a raised seventh, none of which occur in notes E, G or B. So we know it's E minor because it doesn't have the G sharp that would be needful for it to be G major. So it's E minor. And there we go. I hope that's been helpful to you. Let's just peep over the page and we'll just have a little look at the next question. Now this says rewrite this melody using notes of twice the value. Remember to put in the new time signature at the place marked with a star, and remember to group or beam the notes correctly. Now here we're in triple time and we're counting in crotchet beats or quarter notes. We must stay in triple time, but now we need to double the value. So instead of being in crotchet beats or quarter notes, we need to be in minim beats or half notes, and so that will now help us to find our time signature. We need 3/2, 3 minims or 3 half notes per bar. That's all the thinking done now, and so now all we need to do is double the time values. So instead of being a quaver or an eighth note, this becomes a crotchet, so there's no need to beam that now. This also will be the same value. At the moment this is a dotted crotchet or a dotted quarter note, so we don't colour that in and it becomes a minim or a half note with a dot. Again, this comes back to a crotchet or a quarter note. Now these two are semiquavers or 16th notes, so now they will become quavers. So we will beam those two together because this one now will become a crotchet or a quarter note, so that won't need a beam now. And this one, at the moment it's a minim beat, so double that as a semi-breve or a whole note. And we'll carry on in that same way, so we can see as those two have doubled, so will those two. So no stems needed, no beams needed now. Of course you need stems, but don't beam them because they are now crotchets or quarter notes. This one becomes a minim or a half note. Put our flat in. This one will become a crotchet or a quarter note. And then here, this one will become a quaver or eighth, and these two will become two semiquavers or 2/16. So they will need beaming together here. So we've got, get the stems in first. So that's one stem, one beam. This is now two beams. Okay, just as here has changed to a dotted minim or a dotted half note, so will this. No need to colour in the note head. We'll lose the little tail because this is a crotchet now, or a quarter note, and then we don't colour in the note head, but we still need a stem to make that a minim. There we go. And so let's have a look at this next question. Question 7. Describe each of these harmonic intervals, giving the type and the number. The keys are named, so that's given us a good start. And so all we've got to do is figure out the intervals. Now we can get half marks straight away by just counting the intervals. So we're counting from E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we know that's a fifth. So let's just do all the easy stuff first. We've got from B flat to B flat because of key signature, so that's an octave. Here we've got 1, 3, 5, 7, a seventh. 1, 3, 5, sixth. And then here 1, 2, a second. And now we've got to describe what type of interval. So if you remember a fifth, it's the same in a major and a minor key. And so we call that a perfect fifth because it's the same in both cases. The same with an octave, that's a perfect octave. And we just need to think now on these last few. So this is a seventh, and we need to think, is this part of the major scale or the minor scale? So we're counting from F. Now F major has no E flats, F minor has E flats. The E flat's been cancelled, and so that's part of the major scale. Here we are, here's our sixth. And so D major has no B flats in it. We've gone from D to B, but it's B flat. B flat is part of the minor scale, and so that would be a minor sixth. And now B major will have a C sharp in part of that scale, and so that's a major step. A minor interval is smaller, and we'd have to lose the sharp for that to be minor, and so that's a minor second because it's a full step away part of that major scale. I hope that's been helpful to you. If you can give me a like, that's been of benefit to you, that would be greatly encouraging to me if you could let me know. Subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's loads more to come, and please do go to sharonbill.com. There's lots of information to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.